In today's video, we're going to be talking about vintage shining cards. Alright, so I know a lot of times on this channel, we typically talk about modern stuff, modern stories, things like that, and not often do we appreciate vintage cards. I have one other video on my channel, if you haven't seen it, check it out, where we cover gold star cards. Today we're going to be talking about shining cards. So if you're not familiar, these are from the Neo era. So the Neo era started in about the year 2000. And there's quite a few Neo sets, a few different ones. If you have some free time, I highly suggest to check them out. It's a really cool expansion. Particularly today, we're going to be looking at the Shining cards from two different sets here. So you have Neo Destiny and Neo Revelation. So there's 10 total Shining cards. And these cards do come in two different types. So you have your first edition and you have your unlimited if you're new to Pokemon and you don't understand what I'm talking about. So this first edition stamp right here is a first edition, and if it's a non-first edition, that stamp just won't be there. It'll just be a regular card. So actually, let's go ahead, let's check out Shining Charizard here. One of the most expensive ones. If we view sales data, damage you could see selling for $550, high play $315. Near mint, $1,421. So yeah, I'm sure you can guess the price of this card in a PSA 10. It's absolutely massive. I mean, think, even if you see that damaged at $550, you know that this is a big card. And honestly, vintage cards don't get much appreciation anymore. And if you've ever seen one of these cards in person, they're actually really cool. I actually have this Shining Tyranitar over here that I bought and graded. It's not a first edition, but it is an unlimited. It got a PSA 8 when I graded it. I'll never get rid of it. It's a really cool card. If you look at it, so Tyranitar on this particular card, the Tyranitar itself is actually the hollow foil, and the outside border of it is just regular cardstock. It's interesting how they made these, and that includes any of the other Pokemon too. So like the Mewtwo, the Charizard, they're actually the shiny part of the card, and the rest of the card is a non-hollow. So it's a little bit different to look at. Pretty cool. Another one of my favorite cards here is this Shining Gyarados. I unfortunately do not have one. One day I will have this card, but right now that's not the case. You can see LP for $530, damage for $150. Let's see if we can find a near mint. Near mint unlimited for $400. Another near mint unlimited for $500. And I don't see a near mint first edition. Let's see if we can find any for sale maybe. If we go down here, so we have a near mint unlimited hollow foil for $900. It looks like this is graded though. PSA 8. Lightly played first edition is, this person wants $1,300. So I don't actually see a near mint first edition copy of the Gyarados. But yeah, another point I wanted to make with these cards is you see so many people slinging money around into modern Pokemon cards. Like, think, this Kabutops here, first edition. Let's see what we could get one for. Near mint unlimited for $400 bucks. So think, someone's spending money on a Umbreon VMAX or a Pikachu EX nowadays. They could buy a near mint copy of a Shining card that is definitely way harder to acquire than any of these modern cards. So when it comes to rarity, yes, these cards are more rare, but also the modern cards, you know, the demand's there for them. But if you wanted to collect based off of rarity, these Shining cards, any vintage cards really, like the pop count's not going to be high, especially if you get them graded, depending on what you get. And we'll go over to eBay and actually look at some sales of some PSA cards. Alright, so like I said, we're going to hop over on eBay here. Check out some sales of some graded Shining cards. First up, you can see that we have the Shining Gyarados from Neo Revelation. Non-first edition PSA 10 sold for $4,700. Shining Charizard Unlimited PSA 10, $4,000. Shining Steelix, $540. And these are all unlimited copies. That's a Celebrations card. We're going to skip that. $550. First edition Shining Noctowl, $1,300. So think, like, maybe Noctowl or Steelix isn't the most popular card, but say like even a year ago, like Umbreon VMAX was maybe right around this price, $1,200 bucks, maybe even a little bit less. But think of how much more rare this card is. Umbreon VMAX is almost pop 14,000. I will guarantee you Shining Steelix first edition is nowhere near pop 14,000. So we have the Japanese Shining Gyarados PSA 10 for $5,000. Japanese Shining Magikarp from Neo for $3,700, almost $3,400. We have a PSA 10 Shining Mewtwo from Neo Discovery, $1,900. PSA 10 Shining Magikarp Unlimited, $2,000. Another Unlimited Shining Charizard for $4,195. We have a Shining Tyranitar PSA 10 Unlimited for almost $2,000, $1,850. So yeah, I mean, we're really just starting to see a lot of the same cards here over and over that I already read off. We have a first edition Magikarp for $5,000. I'm trying to see if I can find something more like a first edition. Here we go. Here is a Shining Gyarados first edition for $10.5 thousand. Sold on October 27th. Crazy sales. Then we have another sale for a first edition Shining Gyarados for $7.5K. Trying to see if we can find a Charizard here. Here we go. 2002 Neo Destiny first edition Shining Charizard PSA 10 for $11,000. So you guys get the point. These cards and 10s are absolutely massive. I kind of just wanted to come on here and shed some light on these cards. I know not a lot of people appreciate vintage these days. I do have some vintage, so I don't want to hear people saying, oh, well, you only talk about modern. I do talk about modern a lot, and that's just because that's what a lot of the news is in nowadays. You don't see people talking about vintage cards as much, although I do like them, and I am trying to collect more. I do have a 100% mastered base set, and I'm trying to work my way up slowly, although I'm working on other projects like an alt art binder. That's what I kind of started collecting in, was modern Pokemon. So, but I am trying to branch out back out into vintage. So yeah, if you have some free time, definitely check out vintage cards, especially these Shining cards. They might be a little pricey, but I mean, you're going to spend that on alt art, so maybe check them out if you think they're cool. Pick a couple up. Let me know what your comments are down below. Leave your thoughts. Are you buying these or not? Or are you a purely ultra modern person? Let me know. That's going to be all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you could please like, comment, subscribe, anything helps, and I'll see you on the next one.